Sometimes when we don't get the answer to our prayer quickly, we start to believe that God must not be listening to us, or he has to be ignoring us simply because the answer has not come quickly. And then we'll tell ourselves that God must have abandoned us. But if you could just remember and believe that God is faithful to his promises and that he is faithful because that is his nature. What if I tell you that in 2023, after all these prayers, even this year, I was still praying the same prayer, thinking that God never released the answer. But what if I tell you that God released the answer in my life back in 2023, August 22nd of 2023? But the answer just reached me this year. And what if I tell you that when I went into the secret place with God, I asked him, why did it take so long for this answer to reach me? And he said, because you would have acted prematurely. And where I'm taking you out, where I'm commissioning you, they were not ready, but they're ready now. And their hearts are open and they have a hunger for me. So I had to prepare you for a time like this. You had to go through some stretching for a time like this. So what if I tell you that maybe it's not that God didn't answer you? Maybe it just hasn't reached you yet because God is doing something. Maybe he's having to add something else to your life. Maybe he's having to remove something. Maybe he's having to mature you. Maybe he's having to mature other people. We don't know why. Maybe you're not ready to hold that answer yet. Maybe there's a blessing coming that you're not quite ready to hold, that you won't know how to sustain, that you won't know how to steward if it comes to you. What if you simply believe that God is still God, even when your circumstances are ugly? What if you truly still believe that God is faithful, and just because you don't have an immediate answer right now, or just because you don't see the evidence, doesn't mean that he left you? You have to learn how to rest in who God is and know that by his nature, he is unchanging, but by his nature, he is faithful, which means that you should be able to trust God and have faith in God and trust his character and trust his nature beyond what your circumstances are saying, beyond what you're experiencing right now. If God was good to you last month and a month before that and a month before that, don't let this one experience take away from God's goodness and his faithfulness. He's been faithful to you before, and he will be faithful again because his nature, his character is unchanging. So even when we don't believe, the word of God says that even when we are unfaithful, God remains faithful because he cannot deny himself. And you got to remember that even in the hardest seasons. So although it may not seem like the answer is coming immediately, believe that he heard your prayer.